Good morning, Breathe University. It is Kamitha Whipple checking in with you with our 100-day with ET challenge. I'm still going strong. I actually woke up a little bit late, about 20 minutes late today. And amazingly, my muscle memory kicked in. My body just woke up and told me that I was late. And I was able to get everything done on my list earlier than I usually do. So that'll show you what can happen when you are focused, when you are hustling to try to get to that goal. I'm very pleased with the results so far of the 100-day challenge. I pray that you are as well. Today, we are continuing in our series of grief videos. This is going to be number 5, and today I want to talk directly to those that are grieving. So I'm going to share 6 myths about grief that is hindering you from your recovery. There are things that we say, things that we pass on to others, things that people say to us that just aren't true. But because they sound nice, or because they're said often enough, we start to believe them. And they're actually hindering you from moving on and moving through your grief so that you can be better on the other side. So the number 1 myth that people say to you as a grieving person is that there are some things you just never get over. And that's just not true. People will say, oh, you never get over your first love. Or they'll say, you can't get over the death of a child. The devil is a liar. You can have life, and you can have it more abundantly even after a tragedy. Recovery is possible. Now remember, recovery is not forgetting about the person that you lost. Recovery is not, forgetting that relationship that's over. It's not forgetting the bad things that have happened to you. And recovery is not erasing all sad feelings from off the face of the earth for the rest of your life. That's not what recovery is either. Recovery is being able to remember those sad feelings in the past without having them push you into sad feelings in the present. Remembering how you were angry in the past and being able to resist being angry in the present. Recovery is finding meaning in the loss without, the fear of experiencing hurt again. Recovery is enjoying those fond memories without the painful feelings, without the remorse. And recovery is finding joy in wisdom. Recovery is finally seeing yourself as a complex, multifaceted individual that goes in and out of different experiences throughout her life, not just this disjointed before this happened and after this happened. You don't have 2 lives. You have 1 life, and this thing happened in the ups and downs of your life. That's what recovery is. So there are some things that you're never going to forget, but you absolutely can find peace after your loss. The second myth that we tell ourselves and others tell us is that there are a set amount of stages or a specific adequate amount of time to feel your grief. You should know that the groundbreaking work that was done by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is on death and dying. It's not about grief. Matter of fact, the title of the book is called On Death and Dying. She published her observations of people who were diagnosed with terminal illness. So they were contemplating their own death as they knew that it was soon approaching. And it may be helpful for you to think of grief in stages. And if it's helpful, do whatever works. If it's helpful for you, keep at it. But please don't feel like you should be progressing in a certain pattern. There's no 5 stages of grief or 7 stages of grief or 9 stages of grief. Every grief is unique because every person is unique. And every grief is unique because every situation is unique. So don't force yourself to take, half the amount of time of the relationship to grieve. Don't stop showing your signs of grieving just because an arbitrary number of days has passed. If you're still grieving, still grieve. You can begin your recovery whenever you're ready to stop feeling miserable all the time. So that could be a year after, that could be 6 months after, that could be 2 days after. Whenever you're ready to stop feeling miserable all the time, that's when you're ready for grief recovery. And the first step is to get other people's cliches out of your head, and be truthful about where you are. So the third thing that we need to get out of our head, the third myth about grief, is that grievers need space, right? Grievers need time alone with their feelings, and that's just untrue. People who are sad don't need more sadness, because that's what wallowing in your sadness will bring. Sadness will beget other sadness. People who are sad don't need sadness. People who are sad need comfort. So how can we comfort them if we give them space? I mean, think about it. Grief is not a usual occurrence, right? So many times the person that's grieving, is wondering, am I feeling normal? Am I doing this right? Will this thing ever end? I've been crying and sighing and feeling aches and pains and sad for, a while now. When will this end? Grievers will find reassurance in friends and family, not giving us time alone to be alone with those thoughts. Number 4. The fourth is related to the third, and the fourth thing that we hear is you have to be strong for the children, or you have to be strong for your mother, or you have to be strong for whoever, somebody else. Like the third one before, people say this basically when they don't want to see you cry, or they think that other people witnessing you crying will somehow diminish their opinion of you, and that's just untrue. First, you need to cry. That's a normal, natural reaction to loss. And as I've said before, grievers need the reassurance that they're not alone in their grief. Consider for a moment that it will bring relief to your loved ones when you all grieve as a family. And just think about it for a moment. Can we really be strong for somebody else? If Rochelle does a bunch of push-ups, do I get stronger? Not really. I lift up people over my house, right? And when I greet them at the door, I tend to pick up their heavy bags and I take them to the room that they're going to stay in. Me taking those heavy bags makes me stronger, but it doesn't make them stronger. And if you think about it, all I did was move their stuff, all their baggage, from one place to another. They still have to deal with it. I just made it easier for us by moving it out of the way. The fifth myth that we come upon when we're grieving is that time will heal all wounds. Just give it time. Time will heal all wounds. And if you think about it for a moment, you'll realize that this just instinctively is wrong, but people say it anyway. If you witnessed a kid break his leg, he's lying on the grass crying, do you go up to him and say, "It's okay, you just need some time"? Of course not. He doesn't need time. He needs a splint. He needs a cast. Yes, his healthy body will heal itself, but only if it's first set correctly and provided with the proper nutrition and rest. And that's what you need. Your heart is broken. So yes, recovery is possible in a span of time, but time alone won't heal it. You need to actually do some work for the recovery. The final myth is related to the fifth. And people say, just keep busy. If you just keep busy, just keep busy. And again, like the one before, it kind of implies that you're just ignoring the problem. Somehow you'll just stumble upon the solution. And that doesn't work. Most grievers say, and this is true for myself, that in the weeks and days following the grief, the hardest parts of the day are the earliest part of the morning, when you don't have much going on, and late in the evening when you don't have much going on. Why? Well, because you're alone with your thoughts. You're not pressured to be strong for others. You are acutely aware of time passing, right? It's a new day or it's the end of another day. And you're not busy with anything. Keeping busy won't get rid of your grief. It'll just push the grief to the side. So those are the 6 myths that are holding you back. And I'm sure that some may have resonated with you. And there might even be 1 or 2 that you would want to revise, right, to fit your particular situation. But you get the gist. Essentially, it all boils down to other people being afraid of your feelings. This may mean, well, they may mean well, but repeating these cliches, they're just trying to fix you. They're not trying to hear you. They prescribe timelines and they offer statements that are intellectually accurate, but not emotionally helpful. And when all else fails, they change the subject. They avoid your feelings. They bury your feelings. They isolate you. Please do not listen to these myths. Your grief is unique to you. This grief is unique to this situation. And when you're finally ready to bring the grieving process to a successful conclusion, you're ready to begin the steps toward recovery. I love you. I love you. And I pray that the God who heals all of our sicknesses, who forgives all of our iniquities, who is able to put you back together again, lead you to the place where you can be healed.